Hello and welcome back to Games Embassy with the Ambassadors of Gaming. I'm one of your two hosts, Ambassador Chris.
And I am Ambassador Michael.
Welcome to our humble corner of the internet. Mike, how are you today?
I'm doing well. As I explained before the show, my refrigerator blew out because something has to go wrong. But that's the least worrying thing that will probably happen this week.
But once you get the new refrigerator, you'll get a new box.
That's true, I guess.
And it won't be dank. It won't be dank, and it won't be smelly. Until you get into it. In which case, it will proceed to get smelly. But we have news about important stuff that doesn't pertain to Mike's life.
Exactly.
A lot of good stuff. So, Mike, why don't you go ahead and take us over to our plug before we begin?
Yes. So we have a Patreon, which helps fund this show and also helps us expand. So we go over there and we put up some exclusive content. We also give you the option to have your questions, comments, and or concerns read on the show. And we also give you early access if you so choose to purchase that tier. So there's a bunch of goodies over there for you. Chris finished up with the May video. I'm editing it now. I started editing it last night, and it'll be done either by tonight or tomorrow morning. So that'll be up for everybody. And then we have the June video already planned out. So right now you will get 5 exclusives, and you'll get 6 if you start. Well, actually, you'll get 6 this month if you sign up for the Patreon. So if you would like to do that, you can do so over there, patreon.com/ambassadors of gaming. And that's it.
All right, good stuff. That video that we recorded was of me showing my gaming setup. It's something I'm really proud of what I've made this apartment into. Mike has seen it, maybe not so much recently, but I've made this small apartment into a gamer's haven. So if you're interested in that, go ahead and hop on that Patreon. I recorded the video very poorly because I've never recorded a video on my own before. So you will see that.
Is not bad. He just shot it vertically. That's
with my phone because I'm a fucking moron. So
it's okay. It looks fine. I fixed it, so don't worry about it.
I'm sure you fixed it. I'm sure it does not look great because
it doesn't look horrendous.
But anyway, hurtful. Sometimes that's all you can hope for. It doesn't look like the worst thing I've ever seen. That's good. That's great. All right, Mike, take us into our announcements, our updates, and our miscellaneous news.
Number 1, Microsoft has announced Xbox Game Pass for PC. All Microsoft exclusives will launch day 1 on the program, similar to the Xbox program. The library is already set up to be over 100 plus games. Microsoft did not provide specifics on the price of the subscription, but did note that it is not the same subscription as the Xbox One console, so there's no cross-platform with it, similar to EA's Access and Origin Premier. The same 20% discount on games purchased inside of Game Pass will also apply to games purchased on the Microsoft Store.
Yay! Mario Maker 2 has some limitations. Big shock, because it's a Nintendo game.
Right.
Mario Maker 2 will feature online multiplayer, but big shock, you cannot play with your friends. Nintendo claims this will compromise the global leaderboards, and that is a real reason, because if you've seen the Mario Maker trailer, there are people, sometimes you're on a team, sometimes it's a free-for-all, and having 2 people be on a team doesn't really seem all that fair when you're trying to get individual leaderboards. So doesn't really seem, I guess that's okay. But players will be able to play locally or through local wireless play. And of course, well, not of course, but something that was a little disappointing. The game will not feature amiibo support.
I found that one to be particularly weird because they push amiibo pretty hard. So
yeah, they could totally make a little Mario and Luigi amiibo for Mario Maker.
Right, with their outfits. Because there's no Mario Maker construction outfit yet, right? For amiibo. Yeah, I know he's in Smash, but I know he's not. Yeah, I don't think he has an amiibo, right?
No, there's no construction.
I would buy a construction Mario and Luigi.
So would I.
I want it to be known. Okay. Yeah. EA has announced ahead of its E3 conference a new Need for Speed game that will release this year. However, they're not going to show it to you at E3. So you'll have to wait.
Which is why they announced it before E3.
Yep.
Beyond Good and Evil 2 will also not be at E3 this year. Ubisoft will instead dedicate a live stream to the game next week. Previous live streams have not been as fruitful as people have hoped. So let's hope that they can pick that back up.
Yeah, that game's coming out eventually. So, the World Health Organization officially recognizes gaming disorder as an illness. Now, before you get all upset, listen to what I have to say. The organization claims those who may be affected are those who display, quote, a pattern of persistent or recurring gaming behavior, whether digital gaming or video gaming, which may be online, over the internet, or offline, manifested by these factors. Impaired control over gaming. Examples being onset, frequency, intensity, duration, termination, or context. Increasing priority given to gaming to the extent that gaming takes precedence over other life interests and daily activities. And continuation or escalation of gaming despite the occurrence of negative consequences. The behavior pattern is of sufficient severity to result in significant impairment in personal, family, social, educational, occupational, or other important areas of functioning. End quote.
Okay.
Jesus.
Okay. Yeah. Before you guys get, I want you to understand this. This does not mean that if you come home from school every day and play games until the evening, this is not directly targeting you. Okay. This is for people who, they don't eat, they don't sleep, they don't bathe, they don't go to work. They don't do anything that they need to do in their life aside from play games, like 24/7. Okay, so just because you and even if you went one day, if it's a Saturday morning, you didn't shower and you just went to go play your games, they're not all of a sudden saying you have a disorder either. It's just really destructive lifestyles. There's nothing wrong with hiding in your room playing Call of Duty when you have family over.
Right, like not that kind of stuff, but they're saying like you haven't interacted with a single human being in like a week. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's like to the extreme. It's not like the way that this was turned out to be was like, oh, every single person that plays video games has a disorder now, and it's like that's not the case.
Yeah, I feel like some people instantly took that, like they were just like, what?
Yeah, they got all
saying I have. Yeah, I love that term so much.
It was unnecessary, but. I don't know. I understand where they're coming from, but I think their description of it is not very good. I think that's
and I'm sure it'll get refined. I'm sure it'll get refined because keep in mind we're still in new waters here. Gaming over the past few decades has really, not even over the past few decades, over the last decade itself has become with common online multiplayer and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Like in the past 20 years, gaming is
mainstream.
Mm-hmm.
Thing, so
and once everything gets settled and people, once gaming is, I don't want to say accepted, but once people are more used to it, there'll be things that are a little bit more clear with stuff like this. Not just saying, you play games, congratulations, you got a disorder. Sorry. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and take us over to the news. Google requires app makers to disclose loot box odds. Google has updated the Google Play Store policy to require developers to reveal the chances of paid random chances in game items. This is Mike. Go ahead and start me off before I go on a rant.
Okay, so I think you touched on a good point when we were talking about some of this stuff before the show, that they're trying to get some good PR before Stadia releases and before they talk about Stadia again. And correct me if I'm wrong, but when you purchase my understanding is that everything is going to go through the Play Store, most likely for Stadia, which means this will apply to the games you play on Stadia. And so that's kind of why we put it in here. And also because it's just one of those things where it's like, they just want to get ahead of the curve because Belgium's going to make them do it anyways. So they're like, we'll just do it as a blanket thing and just be done with it. So,
well, Google isn't a bad company by any means. I mean, they are a big tech giant of the world, but they do charities, they have foundations. Like they're not a bad company.
Right.
At least not as far as I know. I might be totally wrong.
I don't.
I don't
so.
look up Google.
I don't
every
know
minute of every
anything
day.
that's like conspiracy theory stuff about Google, but I don't know anything about it.
Who knows? They might be selling our information. We just don't know it. Every time you search for hentai titties on that Google Chrome private browser.
Every time you search up hentai, they're like, "Let us sell you anime ads."
Yeah, I was gonna say, hey,
Oh
you
my
might
God.
like JoJo's Bizarre Adventure because you saw this chick getting fucked with some sort of animal creature.
Oh
All
my
right.
God.
Yeah, dark jokes. I'm sorry.
It's
I'm
all
swearing
right.
a lot this episode. I dropped the F-bomb twice.
It's all
I
right.
don't like that.
Anyways, what was your tangent you wanted to go on about this?
Well,
'Cause that'll
okay,
make
I should have said it wasn't a tangent so much. It was that I read about it and I talked about it, and I didn't want to get into a conversation where I was just spewing nonsense and you were just going
Okay, fair enough.
So, but you already said exactly what I was going to say. I think that Google is trying to make themselves look even better, making sure that they have some good PR, so that people don't think that, or at least so that they can throw it on it's EA's fault. We're not. It's EA's fault. It's Activision's fault. We're not doing anything.
Right, whatever, something like that. I'm very interested because, like for example, I'm interested to see if Stadia comes out this year, and if Stadia comes out this year, if they have games like the new Call of Duty, and if the new Call of Duty has loot boxes or whatever, stuff like that, where it's like, I'm very interested to see how this plays out for them. So,
me too.
Okay, let's talk about more legal stuff. Yay! PlayStation is under investigation in Australia, because of course it is. The ACCC has filed an investigation into Sony Interactive Entertainment due to the refund policy on the PlayStation Store.
I think I've seen this movie before.
Yeah, I feel like this has happened before, but I don't know. Maybe I'm just having deja vu. So the PlayStation Store has a refund policy that you can refund your game for store credit up until 14 days of purchase as long as you do not download the game, which is better than the previous policy, which is you bought the game and now it's yours forever, no refund ever. So the ACCC has said, quote, "We allege that Sony Europe gave false and misleading information to their customers about their rights in relation to games sold via its PlayStation Store. Consumer guarantees do not expire after a digital product has been downloaded, as we allege Sony Europe told consumers, and refunds must be given in the form of original payment unless a consumer chooses to receive it in store credit," end quote. That's part of the restriction as well. You do not receive a refund in the currency you buy it in, but in PlayStation Store credit. Australia
misleading
consumer law.
my butt. That's just straight up lying.
Yeah. Because we're gonna get into it here in the last one. So, Australia consumer law states that consumers have the rights to a refund, repair, or replacement if a product is faulty because it is not acceptable quality, or if the description is misleading in relation to the final product. So, for example, games that we have seen trailers
76.
of. Yeah, Fallout 76 is a great example. That would be a game where in Australia you would have a right because you would say this is not of acceptable quality. It does not work as games of this caliber usually function. So, it's one of those things where I'm kind of confused. Go ahead and elaborate to me where you felt like Sony was lying. I don't feel like because I don't know if I necessarily agree.
What I'm saying is, we allege Sony gave false and misleading information to their consumers about their rights via the store. And according to them, in Australia, downloading it does not mean you are no longer not eligible for a refund.
Right.
And also, they don't have to get it back in store credit. They can get it back in the currency they got it in. So they were using kind words saying that they were misleading. When if you look at that, if you look at the PlayStation Store's refund policy saying that you can only get it back in store credit up to 14 days, and as long as you didn't download it, when that is directly proven to be false in the very next statement. You can return it after it's been downloaded, and you can get your money back in the way you spent it, not just store credit.
Oh, okay. That's where you're going. Okay. I understand.
They were just using the AC cubed, I'm gonna say. Gave like they say that they gave misleading information. That was a very kind word, because the PlayStation Store is just straight up lying and saying you have this.
You have to receive it this way. Okay.
Exactly.
So they're saying that there's just not full information about the policy. Is that correct? Okay.
Yeah, if by not full you mean completely incorrect information.
Yeah, well, they're like, here's one way you could do it.
Yeah, but we're gonna say it's the way, and this is the only way. But there are other ways, but it's the only way. So yes, but actually no.
That's I can understand why they would be concerned about that. I have issues with, we've talked about this before. We have issues with the way games are refunded and purchased and stuff like that. And like, I don't know, man. Games are one of those only product where they're like, if you don't like it too fucking bad, that sucks. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you can't just go to Walmart and be like, oh, I bought this blender. I don't like it. It doesn't function the way I thought it would. It's just not what I wanted. And they're like, sorry, we can't take it back. You already bought it. Like, you know, but also you can't, games are different in that they're not going to let you play the whole game and then be like, oh, I didn't like it, and then give you a refund, because it's that gray area, you know, where it's a little bit of both. And I'm like, I don't really know how to solve that problem. I'm kind of stuck with it, you know?
Yeah.
I think you have to put a time limit on it. Like, GameStop had that really good policy, that pretty decent policy, I think, where you had 24 hours. I think within playing a game within the first day of purchasing it, you'll know if you don't like it or not. Especially because most of us binge when we first get a new game. We usually binge it, you know, for a couple hours. And within 4 or 5 hours, you know if a game's a piece of crap or not. You know?
But GameStop also has that thing with the digital content, because now, like, a whole bunch of games, even if it's not some sort of special edition, it'll come with some sort of digital code for you to get a skin or something. Do you know what I mean? And if you go to the store and try and return it, they're like, well, I guess you could return, or they're usually a little bit more squeamish about it at that point, because they're like, well, you use the code. I can't reseal this and sell it as new because the code doesn't work.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Don't they give you store credit though? Wasn't that the deal? Like with Days Gone, it was like, we'll give you $60 worth of store credit or whatever, instead of giving you $60 back. I think that's what the deal was. So I don't know. We got to find like some sort of middle ground, I think, because like Fallout 76 is a really good example. Like, people should have been able to get refunded for that game if they so chose, because that game was really awful. And I've talked about it before. I don't think I've talked about it with you, but there's a game called Agony. That game is genuinely awful. It is legitimately one of the worst games I've ever played, if not the worst game I've ever played in my life.
Did it put you in agony?
It did. It's so bad it's hard to find reviews of, because nobody wants to play it. That's how bad it is. Like, it's really? Just awful. Yeah, it's just awful. And it's the only game I've ever played where I'm like, I want my money back. Like, this is so bad. It's like, it's not unplayable, but it's just unbearable. It's not fun. It looks like crap. It plays like crap. It was just awful. And so, like, it was so bad that I got a refund from Amazon for it. And they charged me like $27 to restock the game. And I took it. I was like, just take it. I don't even care. I'll take $13. I'd rather have $13 than $0 in this game. So, like, I just ate the $27 on it because it was so bad. Yeah, so, like, we need to find something for those rare cases where games are just genuinely awful. So, I don't know. But we'll see. We'll see in the future. It's something that's evolving very quickly. And so I have confidence that we'll figure it out soon.
Yeah. All right. Take us on to... Oh, no, that's me.
It's your turn.
I'll do it. It's my turn. So Call of Duty Modern Warfare is real and has been announced. If you can't tell, I'm wearing my gasped face. I mean, this was leaked like 2 weeks ago.
Right.
Activision announced this year's Call of Duty is just called Modern Warfare, being made by Infinity Ward, and is coming out on October 25th. The game will feature cross-play support between consoles and PC, depending on the source you look at, some of them already have confirmed that PlayStation and Xbox and PC are all going to do crossplay, and other sources just keep saying consoles and are being really vague about it. Even a lot of the site where the game is listed just say consoles.
Right, it's kind of vague.
So I would take it with a grain of salt and still wonder if PlayStation's going to play nice, because we know that they really don't like to. So at the least, we can assume crossplay between the Xbox and the PC version at the bare minimum,
which is a good step ahead.
Yeah, I mean, kind of. Sorry, I get sour when PlayStation's just being a
PlayStation.
butthole.
Yeah, I understand.
There is no season pass for this year, which
shocking.
Well, I'll move on to that in a sec. There's also no zombies in this year's adaptation. Infinity Ward claims that it will disrupt the realistic tone they're setting for this game and its world. And from what I've come to understand, this is going to be I don't think it's a continuation from Modern Warfare 3's story. I think it's like a remake with, I can't remember the words. It's like
of the story.
It's a reboot.
Basically.
Thank you. It's a reboot of the story, from what I can tell.
What I understand is Price is one of the main characters in this one.
Captain Price, yeah.
Yeah, Captain Price is one of the main characters. I think Soap is in it as well, but I don't think you play as him. I wasn't really sure. It's really weird. I think it actually might take place before the first Modern Warfare in terms of the timeline of the character stories, but like it takes place in modern day in terms of events. Do you know what I mean? So like it's weird.
So this brings some questions forward. For one, Black Ops 4 got a lot of crap for not having a single player campaign, which was really strange because not many people even play the single player campaigns.
Yeah,
which
not
is
as
what
many
really
as we would
threw me
think.
off. Yeah, they took away the single player campaign and gave us a battle royale mode, and rather than praising them for giving us a battle royale mode, they just complained that there was no single player campaign. And I'm sure a lot of the people leading the charge on that single player campaign thing probably didn't even play the campaign. And they were just doing it to bark up a tree. But now it won't have a zombies mode either, from what we can understand. Well, they said it won't have a zombies mode. But what I'm saying is we're pretty confident it also won't have a battle royale mode. And Mike, do you want to go ahead and tell them why?
Because we were talking about it. So let's clarify a couple things. The Battle Royale in Black Ops 4 was made by Raven, right? We already know that. Raven, we talked about last week, is the studio that was supposed to be making, in conjunction with Sledgehammer, the 2020 Call of Duty. So that's what they've been working on. So they haven't been making a Battle Royale. And Battle Royale it's going to be very, very difficult for them to market two Battle Royales. And been like, oh yeah, sorry, you're just out of luck if you bought the Black Ops 4 Battle Royale and you don't want to buy the new one. Like, that sucks for you.
Yeah, all the progress that you've made in the Black Ops 4 Battle Royale, like Fortnite and all these other games, your progress is continually saved as you go on. Yeah. So they're kind of asking you to just start from scratch, and the Black Ops 4 one is designed pretty well. I don't think it needs to be replaced.
In terms of gameplay and stuff like that,
yeah, it's still good gameplay. If you like that kind of gameplay,
I mean, if you like Call of Duty, it's fine. I think I don't see any reason to replace it. To be fair, before we move forward with other stuff about this, we didn't mention the co-op. There are co-op missions. From my understanding, is the co-op missions are not horde based, but there's something. They sound like they're loosely tied into the campaign. It's like a secondary campaign is kind of how they're marketing it. Like, you play the campaign by yourself, and then you can play this secondary campaign that kind of follows up on it with your friends. It's really weird. Like, the way they're describing it is very strange. Maybe I'm just not understanding it correctly. But I thought it was interesting. So they are adding stuff to try to supplement the zombie mode. It's not like, screw you, you're just getting a campaign and multiplayer. So there is other stuff in there. I want that to just be clear. And I wanted to read real quick some of the description from this year's Call of Duty, because I thought it was really terrible. So this is like the last paragraph, right? It says, in Call of Duty Modern Warfare, players will be thrust into an immersive narrative spanning the entire game. And I'm like, I would hope your campaign goes throughout the entire game. That would be wonderful. I would love to play a campaign that's a complete campaign.
I think they're not just saying the campaign. I think they're trying to say that the whole game is supposed to be some sort of like immersive,
is some narrative
experience.
Yeah, I think so, but the way it's worded is just really stupid. That's all.
I'm super excited to hear people complain that it doesn't have a zombie mode or doesn't have some sort of. They're going to complain. Also,
I gotta find something to bitch about.
One thing that's also important is they said there's no season pass, and of course they're trying to get people to go, "Oh yeah, you
Good
guys
job.
are awesome! no season passes, great." They didn't say no loot boxes, people.
Yeah, there's still probably gonna be loot boxes,
and it's Activision. They're gonna loot box the crap out of you.
I hope they don't, but I feel like they will. You know, it's kind of like one of those things where it's what I expect from them. So we'll just have to see.
I was
because
we're so mad when they added those one-hit kill pistols to Black Ops 3. I was livid that you can only get through the loot boxes. I was like, really?
Yeah,
seriously, that's stupid.
That we stopped playing after that. That was the only reason we stopped playing Black Ops 3. Is because
we liked Black Ops 3.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty decent in comparison to the previous games that I had played. To be fair, my favorite one recently was World War II. I thought World War II was really confident.
I also liked World War II. I thought it was a solid game.
And then it degraded, in my opinion, in terms of balance. But they're taking a look at different things here. So I think it's just one of those things where we'll find out next week at E3 kind of what they're planning more, because this is always how it goes. They reveal the name of the Call of Duty and kind of give you a little info, and then they show the multiplayer off at E3. So I'm sure it'll be on Microsoft's stage this year, because I mean, it's not going to be at Nintendo's. It's not going to be at the other publisher's stage. So really the only option is Xbox's stage. Unless they do their own kind of thing, because they are partnered with PlayStation. You know what I mean? For the exclusive content. So maybe they're not allowed to be on Microsoft's stage. I don't know.
Very possible. I mean, I don't know.
We'll just see.
I'm just calling the loot boxes. Like I said, as soon as I see, because Activision is all about, they're
money.
Huge. And they want to get as much as they can. So saying that there's no season pass, in fact, that kind of makes me even more nervous.
Yeah, about the aggressive ways they monetize stuff.
Exactly. It makes me wonder how they're going to make up that money, monetization without the season pass.
If it makes you feel any better, Activision has not forgotten to make a premium edition of the game for $99.
Oh, thank goodness.
I was so worried. They forgot their roots.
Oh, good. I can put down my crack spoon. Jeez.
Yeah. Whatever would I do without an expensive version of Call of Duty? Oh no,
yeah, dude. Where's my needles?
Anyways, so there's no season pass, so I don't really know how they're gonna justify the $99 price point. There's a bunch of like weird extra cosmetic stuff I think you get, and that's about it. But before we move on, because I think we pretty much said everything we need to for now. Did you see what Bungie posted recently?
I probably did. What are you referring to?
They decided to announce that they were going to do a live stream of the next chapter for Destiny on the morning of the Call of Duty release.
Yes, but also keep in mind they said next chapter of Destiny 2.
Yeah. Sorry, that I should have clarified.
Yeah, so we're not going to get we're probably not going to get a D3 reveal. But right. I do have to admit, when I first saw this kind of drip feeding content map at first, I was really peeved by it. I didn't like it, but it works very well. It's like getting a Crota expansion like every 2 months.
Yeah, that's what that game needs, honestly. It needs a constant drip feed of content. And it's just
it worked expensive. Out really nicely. They added Black Armory, which was pretty good. You know, they gave plenty of things to do. They added Joker's Wild, plenty of things to do, and now they're adding the next season actually comes out this Tuesday, and I've got the day off. So I'm going to be playing that.
Wonderful.
So, yeah. Sorry, randomly off topic, but Mike, why don't you go ahead and take us to...
kind of relevant.
Yeah, I love Destiny so much. I wish I didn't, but I do.
All right, well, let's move on to the last piece of news, and that will be some pre-E3 leaks. Oh boy, yay, more E3 leaks. So this is all Ubisoft stuff. So Ubisoft has a, quote, Ubisoft Pass Premium leak ahead of E3. Oh, I should have put end quote. Whatever. A screenshot from the Ubisoft store. The company has removed the item, but however, a subscription category has remained on the Ubisoft store. So there's that. And then also they had a roller derby game leak. And it looks like it was maybe inspired a little bit by Rocket League and its off-putting nature. Reset Era and Spiel Times claim that it is an online-only competitive game with 2 teams of 5 skating around a track. An image and a controller scheme layout were both provided in the leak, showcasing the input and possible gameplay elements for the game Roller Champions. Any thoughts about that? I know you don't particularly care about Ubisoft very much, but...
It's not that I don't care about Ubisoft, it's just I haven't really played many games by them that grabbed me.
The last one you played was what? Division 1? That was the last Ubisoft game you played? Probably?
Yeah, I think it was The Division. And we stopped playing before... Supposedly they fixed it up and it got better, but we weren't playing around that time.
Right. We played it a little bit after launch, but for the most part, our time frame was in launch. Roller Champions sounds cool. I'm not gonna probably buy that, but it sounds interesting. I'm glad Ubisoft's doing like weird stuff again, like kind of weird, little games. I am kind of interested in the past though, because I think we talked about this when EA kind of announced Premiere. And Microsoft announced Game Pass kind of within was it within the same E3 that they did that? Or was it a year after?
I don't remember.
I can't remember at this point. But anyways, I think Game Pass came out around and Premiere came out around the same time frame, within a year of each other for sure. And we were like, oh, great. Now we're going to go into the age of cable where basically every company wants a subscription service. And this pretty much is kind of how the ball is rolling. So... I mean, if Ubisoft has a premium pass and it's like, whatever, if it's exactly like Premiere, then whatever. But if it's more like Game Pass, I'd be more interested. If they're like $100 a year and you get all Ubisoft games day one, I'd be like, that's a pretty good fucking deal. I'll buy that. Or even if it was like $120 a year, I would get that.
Yeah, that'd be good.
We'll just have to see, because that's going to come at Ubisoft's conference, which will be on Monday. Let me double check the schedule, because I know Microsoft is Sunday, EA is Saturday, and who else is on Sunday? Square Enix? No, Square Enix is on Monday. Let me take a look here. I'm sorry, I had it up. Bethesda, that's who it is. Sunday night is Bethesda. So we'll just have to see. We haven't really talked about it because E3 is coming up. I wanted to discuss with you a bit. How hyped or not hyped are you for E3? Or are you just like, you're like mildly excited?
Not to be hyped for E3. I try never to be hyped, unfortunately, because every time I get hyped for E3, there's something that I want to be there that isn't there. I try not to speculate on it, and then I see what's released and I go, oh, that's cool. But I try not to get my hopes up for anything at E3.
I don't particularly blame you. I'm taking a look here. I'm having trouble finding EA's conference, because I know EA does the thing all weekend long, but I can't find their particular conference.
They changed the name of it. I think it's called Loot Box Bitches or something. You might want to look into that.
Okay.
Yeah, they may have changed
Aggressive monetization. How to make millions of dollars a year. Presented by EA.
Put a gun to those gamers' heads and make sure they know they have to.
Put a paywall in every possible area. So real quick, since we're on the topic of E3 and we're kind of closing out here for the show, I wanted to discuss E3 and how we're going to handle it. So next week, you will not receive a normal episode of the Games Embassy. You will instead receive a couple different ones. We're still figuring out Nintendo, so that's kind of we got to sort that out. But you should be getting one for every conference. So instead of seeing one episode next week during E3, I'm going to live stream on Twitch. I got to get this all sorted. So I'm going to live stream each conference, hang out with you guys if you want. And then afterwards, I'll do a recap as we normally would here with the news. And then you'll get that on podcast services. The streams, I'm going to do publicly, I think. And then, so you'll get a Microsoft recap, a Bethesda recap, an EA recap, a Ubisoft recap, and a Square Enix recap. And then Chris may do the Nintendo one with Jason from last week. We kind of have to sort it out and figure out if that's something we can do still. So you may receive that as well this week. If not, it may just be another recap video. So, be patient with that. And then the week after E3, we're going to do an update episode with the information from E3 on the updates of things that were announced. Because that's always how it is. They announce stuff, you cover it, and then there's loads of updates about it after the fact. So that's kind of how we're gonna cover E3. It's gonna be a 2-week kind of deal. So we are looking forward to that. It's gonna be quite busy and fun. So if you have any comments, questions, or concerns, you can do that. We're going to be on Twitch. If you are unfamiliar, we are Ambassadors of Gaming on Twitch. That's where you will find me streaming that weekend. So, yep. And that's
coming live from Mike's dank box.
From my olive green couch. My sun-bleached couch. Color.
Mine's gray.
Yeah, well, I mean, we got this couch because from somebody for relatively cheap, and it was sun bleached. So yeah, I mean, you gotta take what you can get. So
you're relatively cheap.
Yeah, I am. But so that's pretty much our E3 plan. So yeah, we hope you'll join us, and you'll be getting some weird episodes in the coming week. And until then, this show is over. So
okay, well, that's straight to the point. I'm Ambassador Chris.
And I am Ambassador Michael.
And we'll see you next time.
Goodbye, friends.
We're gone.